Hi, this is Whitney with PolicyPack Software, and in the last video, we looked at all of the components, and I mentioned that we would be creating a video that went over the setup and use of the Application Settings Manager. Well, here we are. This is that video. So what I'd like to do to start off with is I would like to do a little show and tell. I'll show you first, and then I'll tell you. So let's go ahead and start off and create the GPO that we're going to eventually be working with, and I'm just going to call it PolicyPack Application Settings Manager Demo. And I want to edit this. And I want to go and I want to look at the Application Settings Manager component here. So when I click on it, it is scanning for available applications. And what it is doing is it is scanning the central store. We'll talk about this in just a second. All right, so now that it's done doing that, let's open this up a little bit. We don't see anything right now. Well, when I right click, we're going to see new application, and well, gosh, we have Dental Software and Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. Well, where the heck did all of this come from? What is with the random amount of applications I see here? Well, it came from the central store, and it's actually not random at all. So what I did before this video is I went to the policypack.com customer portal, and I went to the downloads tab and I downloaded our packs. So those packs are right here, and they're all in folders. And let me just pick one here, and you're going to see inside most of the folders, you're going to see three documents here, or three files here rather. One is a README file. It's exactly what you think it is, just any information that we have that you may need to know about the particular pack. We have an XML document that you can use to modify in our design studio. There's other videos for that. And finally, right here, we have a DLL file. That's what we consider the pack itself. And so what happens is we basically take these and we drop the ones that we're interested in using, such as Firefox, Java, and WinZip, which is what we're going to be looking at today, and we drop those into our central store. Let me show you what I mean by that. Now, chances are, if you've been working with group policy, then you already have a central store created. If not, we've got another video for that. But in this case, I've already got that created, and I actually have a shortcut for it, but you're going to find it in local disk, Windows, sysvol, where is it? There we go. Sysvol again, then domain name, and then policies. And here are all of my my policies that I have here. You may already have policy definitions created. That's your central store where your ADMX files may be located. And then what you're going to need to do is create another folder here called Policy Pack. Just all one word, just like that. And once you've done that, inside of there, you can see I have those DLLs that I just mentioned dropped into here. So if you notice, I have that same Dental Software and Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox and so on, the same thing that I have when I right-click and click here. So that's where all of that came from. So I already have, let's see, Firefox, Java, and WinZip in here, which is what I'll be working with today. But if I wanted to add something, say, let's go find one of the packs that I was just looking at. Let's go over here. Let's choose Attachmate Extra Extreme. Don't know what that is, doesn't matter, but we're going to grab that. We're going to drop it into here. I like to copy it in. And then if I come back to my GP editor here and I have it rescan for available applications. And now when I right-click, choose New Applications, there we go. We've got Attachmate Extra Extreme right there. So that's how you go about adding and populating this menu here. So before we start noodling around with the applications that I mentioned before, which will be Firefox, which needs to be the ESR version, by the way, that's important to note. We'll look at WinZip and Java as well. Let's go over to my endpoint, and let's look at these settings when they're unmanaged. So let's come over here, let's look at WinZip, and let's go to Options, Configuration. We're going to play with passwords, and we'll look at the Cameras tab as well. So passwords, nothing's going on here. Minimum password length, 8 characters. I can get to all my tabs, no big deal. So no settings going on there. Let's hop over to Mozilla Firefox. And what I'm going to do with this guy is I'm actually going to set a particular home page so it doesn't show up right here. And I'm going to tear the knob off of a new private window because I want to not allow incognito browsing. So we're going to look at that. And finally, we'll come over and we'll look at the Java settings. And what I want to do with this is I want to tear the knob off that update tab. I want to get rid of it altogether. And if we come over here to security, it's at high security right now. I want to take it to very high security, and I want to gray that out so that users can't mess with that at all. So we'll go ahead and tell that okay. So those are my ungoverned, unmanaged settings. So let's hop over here, and I am on the user side right now. So on the user side, I am going to work with the WinZip pack. So let me go find WinZip International. And notice that the extension location, central storage, that's where we just looked at. And I'll double click on it. And there we go. All right, so we've got a UI that's pretty similar to what we were looking at on the endpoint when we were looking at our WinZip settings a few minutes ago. What I want to do now is I'm going to come over to the passwords, and I want the minimum password length to be 11. Now notice when I made a change there that it got underlined. That means that it's always going to be reapplying that setting. That means we are delivering that setting. So right now, these, you notice they're not underlined. We're not delivering any settings here, but when I check here, notice it becomes underlined and that setting is being delivered. Now, if you want to deliver an unchecked setting, you can certainly do that. And now the specific setting we're delivering is that this is unchecked. But I'm going to go ahead and leave them all four checked. Now for extra security, if I right click, I actually have the option to come over here and I can perform an ACL lockdown, which takes control of the registry settings. I also have the option to hide the corresponding control in the target application. So this third one down, I'm actually going to hide that. And this last one, I am going to disable that control. If I come over to the cameras tab, I'm going to right click just in any blank space, and I'm actually going to choose to disable the whole tab in the target application. So that will gray that out and they won't be able to use it. So, all right, there we go. So we've saved these settings by telling it okay. Now with Firefox and with Java, I'm actually going to work with that over on the computer side because we have a system-wide config file that we can use to lock that down, but it only works on the computer side if we do that. So we're going to come over here to the Application Settings Manager over here on the computer side, and we are going to right-click and we'll go with Firefox first. Let's get into here. And all right, I want to deliver a home page here. So I'll go with policypack.com. Why not? Policypack.com. And what I want to do is show my home page. There we go. And this is where I'm locking down that setting using the system-wide config file, which means that the user is going to have no way to change this at any point. It's, like I said, kind of ripping the knob off of it. So if we come over here to extras, we're going to do the same thing with private browsing. I am just going to turn off private browsing. I'm going to perform the ACL lockdown, and then we're not going to see that option on the screen at all. It's going to just tear it off. So we'll tell that okay. And now I want to do a couple things with Java here, like I mentioned. So let's go grab that, double click on this, and we're going to come over to the update. We are going to say we do not want to check for updates automatically, and we are going to perform the ACL lockdown, and that is going to just get rid of that tab altogether. And if I come over here to security, I want it to be very high, and I want to lock down that setting and tell it okay. So now we have managed WinZip on the user side, and we are managing Mozilla Firefox and Java both on the computer side so that we can use that system-wide config file to lock it down. So let's hop back over to our endpoint. We're going to run a quick GP update just to make this happen a little quicker, and then we'll see what we did. All right, let's get rid of this and let's go ahead and go in order. We started with WinZip, so let's see what we've done here. Options, configuration, passwords. Ooh, there we go. The minimum password length is 11 characters, and you can see that we delivered these settings. Well, you can't see this one because, well, we hit it. We also disabled this one, so there we go. We've done the work we thought we were going to do. Now, if I come over here and try to get to the cameras tab, where I could before, nope, it's disabled, so we disabled that just like we thought we were going to. Now let's see what we did with Firefox. All right, opening up. Oh, there we go. We have delivered that policy pack homepage. When I come over here, oh, there we go. The incognito mode or new private browsing, no longer there. And if I try to go to options and I want to try to change the homepage, well, I can't do anything. I can't change it because we locked that down with that system-wide config file. So like I said, no more private browsing, no more changing of this. We have that setting specifically delivered. And let's go over here and look at what we did with Java. Look at that. That update tab is gone now. And if we come over to security, oh, there we have it on very high and it's grayed out. So I can't make any changes there because once again, we locked it down with that system-wide config file. So that's why we do the Firefox and Java in particular on the computer side. Now again, the Firefox has to be the ESR. That's the one we support these days. So just make sure that that is the case when you're working with Firefox. All right, so that's that. We looked at putting the packs in our central store. We talked about creating that central store if it wasn't already there. And we talked about how to work with WinZip, Firefox, and Java in particular, but the rest of those, 500 applications in general. So we hope that helps you out. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.